All right, now for some insight into what we saw in this World Cup final, we bring in Hercules Gomez. And look, Spain dominant this entire tournament. And on their way to winning the Cup, they had to beat some of the tournament's biggest heavyweights, teams that maybe thought were better than them coming in. So what impressed you the most, Herc, about how Spain handled all those different challenges?
That's exactly it, Mike. Let's think about this for a second. Portugal came across their road, and it was easy work. Belgium came across their road, very light work. And then after that, you get a team like France, who was, well, in everybody's eyes, the favorite in this tournament. And they dominate France with the ball. And you're thinking, okay, how about the final? How about with a player like Lionel Messi? How about with a player who's the all-time great in this sport? And they do it again. Argentina was pitiful, disgraceful, whatever adjective you want to use in this game because of Spain and how dominant they were with the ball. They never let Argentina into this game. They dictated play, and finally, football won. When they had to win the game, they did what was necessary, and they put Argentina to bed. But I'm most impressed with how dominant they were. Defensively, only one goal against, and it's not like it's just the defenders we're talking about. A complete performance for a team that has stars, but didn't have one single star, if I'm being honest, in this tournament. It was a team effort. Collectively, they were unbelievable.
I mean, speaking of stars, we got to talk about Lionel Messi because, you know, you look at the Argentina side, they struggled to find opportunities for chances on net. And granted, respect to Spain's defense, but no shots in 90 minutes, that was a surprise to see. So in what we do expect to be Messi's final World Cup experience and appearance, how will the performance of this Argentina team be remembered after coming up short of back-to-back world titles?
Yeah, well, it'll be remembered for two things. One, let's leave Messi for the side of it. It's Argentina and how they suffered all tournament. This really shouldn't be a surprise to us. It was a surprise, but it shouldn't be a surprise. They were suffering against the likes of Cape Verde. They were suffering against the likes of Egypt. They suffered against the likes of England. So when you come up against a dominant team like Spain, you're going to suffer. But it's the way they suffer, guys. You can lose, but it's how you lose. They never once were in this game. And if you have the world's greatest player that's ever played, you got to give him a chance to affect the game. A guy who was averaging 4 big plays a game, 4 big chances a game, touched very little of the ball, and I don't think it's all on Messi. It's not going to affect Messi's legacy, and this is where I want to go. Messi's still going to be the all-time great in this sport, and if you need statistics or trophies to tell you otherwise, I think you're in the wrong sport. Messi is in a different realm. We could have a serious argument about his place in sporting history and where he is amongst the world's best athletes in the history of sports, but it's not going to affect his legacy. But seeing this guy go out like that, I can't imagine this is the last time we see him. 4 years from now, the World Cup will be part of it in Argentina. If you were to ask me if it's the last we've seen of Lionel Messi, I thought we would have seen the last of him in Qatar, so I'm not too sure.
Hey,
what's it been like for you to be a part of all of this? Like, and seeing so many different athletes, so many people coming out and so close to the fans?
You know, it's really an honor because as an athlete, you know, during the season, a lot of it is going to the gym, coming home, you know, going to play games and coming home. And you don't get the chance a lot to interact with the fans and see how much love they really have for you. So to come out here and get to shake people's hand and sign their autographs and take pictures with them, it's really an honor.
And this is in your backyard because you won a title with the Nuggets, now with Brooklyn. What did you learn about that process, leaving Denver, the team that drafted you, winning a championship, and then coming here?
Yeah, you know, it felt like last year was like a new rookie season. It felt that drastic of a change, being in Denver, being one of the younger guys, a part of established culture and everything, and then winning a championship. To come to Brooklyn and be the leader on the team, one of the oldest guys on the team. You know, we had 5 rookies, youngest team in the NBA. It was a completely different role that I had, but it was something that I cherish, and I think that we're building something special over there.
23 days ago, the Red Sox had the worst record in the American League. Since then, they have gone 15-2 and are now on a 10-game winning streak. Senior MLB insider Jeff Passan joining us now. So, Jeff, the Red Sox certainly making a little bit of a push here. What are you hearing about their trade deadline plans as they approach August 3rd?
As exciting as this 10-game winning streak is, and it's brought the Red Sox back from the precipice of dead, they're still not all in at this point in terms of the trade deadline. And look, the next 10 days are going to say a lot about what the Red Sox do. They've got series against the Rays, against the Orioles, against the Blue Jays, all within the American League East. And while reaching the top of the division and overtaking the Rays is not a particularly realistic thing at this point, we see that they're still under 500, and yet they are tied for that final wild card spot. So if in these next 10 days the Red Sox keep winning, they will push. They will look to get batters. And, there were teams out there thinking Aroldis Chapman's going to be available, and Wilson Contreras is going to be available, and Sonny Gray is going to be available. The likelihood of that has gone down quite significantly because of their success, but At the same time, if things go poorly over the next few days, I think the Red Sox also understand not many teams right now have committed to selling. And if the Red Sox could take advantage of that, they certainly would do so.
Okay, so the big trade domino is Tarek Skubal. The Tigers are 7-3 in their last 10, so they're trying to stay in the race. What have you heard about the Tigers keeping or possibly shopping their ace?
I don't mean to sound like a broken record here, but the next 10 days are going to be really important when it comes to where Tarek Skubal spends his August, September, and potentially October. And look, the Tigers want to be a playoff team, and they understand with Skubal and Casey Mize, another guy who could potentially be dealt, pairing them with Troy Melton, who's been awesome this year, Jack Flaherty, who's been a lot better, and Framber Valdez. That's one of the best rotations in the American League. So I think the Tigers want to make a push, but at the same time, they also look at the landscape out there. And right now, there are only 3 teams, the San Francisco Giants, New York Mets, and Colorado Rockies, that have committed to selling. And so if you're the Detroit Tigers, knowing that the inventory is just so thin across baseball, you can make an absolute killing if you move arguably the best pitcher in baseball, as well as someone in Mize, who's been an all-star caliber guy when he's been healthy this year. So Tigers have even more to work out over the next week plus than the Red Sox do. But this is the landscape of the American League, Christine. Nobody knows anything, and it's going to make for a fascinating deadline because of that.
We're 17 days until baseball's trade deadline. What are you hearing about any Yankees plans before August 3rd?
Yeah, the Yankees could use a few different players. They could fill a few different holes, but the big one for me is they could use an upgrade at catcher. Their catchers have had the worst offensive production in the majors this season. Now, there are a few candidates out there, guys who are impending free agents, Ryan Jeffers, Jonah Heim, Tyler Stevenson, but the guy I have my eye on is a guy with multiple years of control after the season, which the Yankees love to acquire, and that's Hunter Goodman, a 2-time All-Star with the Colorado Rockies, 27 home runs, an OPS of about 850. The guy can hit, and if you're thinking, well, this guy's just a Coors Field creation, he is not. He actually hits better on the road than at home, and the Yankees could surely use that bat here at Yankee Stadium.
Jorge, both Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge dealing with injuries. So what's the latest on both of those guys heading into this series?
Well, Jay, we're going to hear from both managers a little later on both situations. Dave Roberts of the Dodgers, Aaron Boone of the Yankees. For Shohei Ohtani, it's not all bad news. He's going to hit this weekend with that irritation in his left knee, but he's not going to pitch. He had his knee drained on Sunday. He did not take part in any of the All-Star Game festivities in Philadelphia this week. The Dodgers want to make sure he is healthy, ready to go, and to pitch as soon as possible. And though he's not going to pitch this weekend, which would have been electric here at Yankee Stadium, Jay, I don't know if you heard, but this man can hit. He's one of the best hitters in baseball, and he might put on a show this weekend. And Aaron Judge, unfortunately, will not be on the field to put on a show. It doesn't sound like he's going to be back anytime soon. He was supposed to have re-imaging done over the All-Star break. We'll get the update later on. But General Manager Brian Cashman, before the breaks, tempered expectations with Judge. He said, when we get this test back, we don't expect necessarily for this rib fracture, his right rib fracture, to be clean. We expect progress. That's what we're hoping for. So it doesn't sound like Aaron Judge will be back in a Yankee uniform very soon. They're hoping maybe next month, if not September.
Okay. All right.
So, Dave, once again, on this stage yesterday, Tyrese Halliburton was talking to LeBron, trying to get some stuff out of him.
That's right.
LeBron wasn't budging. What are you hearing right now about where the decision is in the process and where maybe LeBron is leaning?
Multiple sources familiar with his thinking told me in the last 24 hours that he is truly getting much closer to a decision. Talking to people around the league, Adam Silver, obviously, everyone is just hoping it comes as early as next week, possibly in the early part of next week. And so we're getting closer. And obviously those 5 teams on the screen that we saw there have all made pitches to Rich Paul, and all of them have players that have made personal appeals to LeBron. I am told, though, and I've not been told that any of those teams are eliminated, but in the conversations I've had in the last 24 hours in New York City, it seems like an Eastern Conference team will win the LeBron James sweepstakes. It's not saying that he has told Minnesota they're out or told Golden State they're out, but if it's about trying to play competitive basketball and possibly add a 5th championship to avoid basically 2 NBA Finals type series in the playoffs just to get to the finals in the Spurs and OKC, you can have a better pathway with either Cleveland, Miami, or Philly.
He's dropped some crumbles. We've heard him say the words, trust the process.
Oh, yes,
and then
he
my
did.
phone blows up about Sixers fans saying, oh my God, maybe that's happening. But then in the comfort zone of the Cavaliers returning home and also understanding what it's like to play in Miami, it feels like those 2 teams are the front runners. Timetable here. We joke around the process and the understanding of when the schedule is going to come out. We have to wait for LeBron. Is this something pending over the next couple of days this weekend? Where are you feeling a decision is going to be made?
Honestly, I think it could come as early as late this weekend, early next week.
Yep.
Maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Because he has all the information. He needs to make the final consultation with his family. He has said, obviously, that's a big part of it. But we're not like waiting for one of these contenders to make a last-minute trade or something like that to push him over the edge. He knows every situation, and it'll come down to his gut feel. And honestly, think about it. Both those teams, if we are going to put them the front runners, Miami and Cleveland, he's won championships there.
Yep.
He's familiar with the fans, the people in the organization, and obviously both teams have really strong rosters. Now there's more turnover with the Miami roster, but if you were going to look at any of the teams we were talking about, who has the best current player of the realistic option you might team up with, you might say Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.